Model 3 and the Model Y Juniper. What's the difference? We're gonna find out today. So we have the 2024 Model 3 Highland. This is actually a long range, but it does have a performance bumper, and it has a fake ludicrous badge back in the end. So it is not a performance, just so you guys know. I want to be very, very transparent about that. And then we got the new launch edition 2026 Model Y Juniper. So when we looked at our at YouTube in general, there really wasn't a video comparing the two. And I think a lot of people are going to be deciding between the two. Do they want a Model 3 or do they want a Model Y? So this is going to be a really dry run of literally like a video about like the differences between, what's the similarity and then what's the differences, right? So let's just start from the exterior of this. So the biggest notable differences is going to be the headlight. The headlight looks like this on the Model 3. And yes, YouTube corrected me. The headlight looks like this on the Model Y. This is the actual headlight, which looks very similar. That's where the old one used to be a fog light right there. So I did make a mistake and comment. I'm so sorry, YouTube, forgive me. It does have a really cool iconic, I think it's very iconic, light bar that takes it from the Cybertruck, which is a light bar that goes all the way through. It is not connected. And I think they did that for repairability reasons, because if it's a giant piece right here, they have to replace the whole thing, which means that it'll cost them a lot more money and you more money. So this is the biggest notable differences. Of course, I can't really compare apples to apples because this is a Model 3, this is a Model Y. However, I just wanted to note the differences. The Model 3 also has a badge that comes with it. The Model Y is completely unbadged. I love that. I don't like badges, honestly. So that is a big difference between the two. So exterior wise, that's the main differences. Let's talk about the frunk. So the frunk on the Model Y, I'm going to go ahead and open that, and I'll also open up the Onyx one. This is Onyx, and I don't really know the name for this one yet, but look at how deep this is. This is my gym clothes, but you can see at the peak of this, I do have a mat here, so let me remove this because it's not fair for me, right? It's about, what, 10 inches, right, to the lip right here. Let's talk about this one right here. It feels significantly bigger if you even compare it to the Model Y. So let's go right here. You are getting almost 16 inches right here, right? And the other big differences between the Model 3 and the Model Y is that you actually get, we did a test yesterday, it's still wet from yesterday. We need to probably clean that up. There is a cap for drainage. So they encourage you can put your beverages here, you could travel with it, which is really, really cool, and it's a lot deeper, right? So that's the notable differences between the two. Other than that, the frunk is essentially the same. I mean, that's a pretty big notable difference, I guess. Okay?
Are they both manual?
Yeah, they're both manual. I don't know, they haven't put electric one. They did do that for the Cybertruck, but they did not do it for the Model Y, but that could change. So that's the biggest differences on the front end. All the other stuff, the wheels, I'm not really going to talk about because that is unique to the model that you buy, right? So let's go into the height differences, right? So when you sit down, okay, you're looking at, it's a lot harder obviously to get in and out of a car. So, I mean, the clearance that you get roughly, you can kind of see it. I can't really see it.
6. And
then when you're getting out to this seat, what is that?
To where? Here?
To like here, where my,
22.
about like 22 or so. So it's definitely a little bit harder to get in and out of. I'm in my, I guess, 30s, and this definitely feels a lot better. So let me go in here, and I'll do it really quick. You can see the clearance, and this is important because some people have driveways. So what's the clearance there?
Oh, still the same. Maybe 7.
Okay, and then up to the seat.
Like 27.
Yeah, so I mean, you're looking at what, 5 more inches? Somewhere around there?
Yeah.
So significant difference in terms of height. I mean, it just feels a lot higher when you're getting in, and it feels higher when you're driving as well. So before we get inside, I want to talk about some of the, all the exterior differences, I guess. So on the Model, close that real quick. On the Model 3, the tail light is of course different too because it has this one piece right here. On the Model Y, you're looking at this piece that is actually, it's not quite connected, but it goes all the way around into the center, and there's a camera, and then so on. And it has this nice, really diffuse light right there, which is really, really cool accent in my opinion. So on the trunk side, I apologize, we just finished moving. It is very filthy in here, but you get a decent amount of space, and of course you could actually put all the seats down. And you can see that this right here, when you look at it, is about, we'll just say like 20 inches roughly, a little bit under 20, right? At the height of it. So when you're thinking about buying a TV, and then in here, this entrance right here, you're looking at like 41 inches, 41 and a half really. So 41 and a half and 20. So if you're thinking about buying a TV, I just gave you the measurements. Can it fit in a Model 3? On the Model Y, it feels a lot more open. Well, yeah, because it's closed. Like on the Model 3, it's completely closed from the rear, right? So I think sometimes the wind noise can be a little bit brighter, or not brighter, louder, but you can see right away it's far more open, right? So I said 41 and a half over there. You're looking at 43 inches, so you're looking at almost an inch and a half, 2 inches more on the width, and then you get all of this space, right? So I mean, if you're thinking about at the height of this, I mean, you're looking at, if I remove this right here, I mean, you're looking at like 27 and a half. And then of course, even right here, you're still looking at like 22, 23. So it's a lot higher and feels higher. And then you get, both of them will have this deep trunk space right here. Both of them will also have the side, but this is far deeper than the Model 3 right here. So this, what, this opens?
No, I think this opens.
Oh, yeah, so yeah, this opens. This has a, you know what, this is a really good place to put your charger, but I like putting it here because it's too far for me sometimes. But this is a fantastic space. It definitely is a lot more spacious. When you're looking at a vertical sense, that one also has that, but you just get a lot more space, right? The other big difference is that one's gonna be manual in terms of going in and out. But check this out, on the Model Y, I think this is where I think families will like this. You could just push this button right here, and it is electric. So it will go down, and then you push it back up, it will actually come back in and out. So that is quite nice, because back in the day, I mean, it worked fine. This is more of a luxury, because when you just push it, it just went down, right? Which is fine, but it is a luxury, right? It also works the same for the right one. So these are all pretty much separated. However, you could actually separate that middle one if you wanted to by pushing that button down the middle as well, if you needed to have the single part completely down. So definitely a lot more space, a lot more cubic feet. This Model Y26 is supposed to have actually a little bit less space than the older Model Y, but they did that for other design reasons and so on. But it's still a decent amount of space. It feels like there's a lot. And those are the notable differences between the Model 3, the newer one, and then also the Model Y, Juniper. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this, right? As far as everything else, this is about the same part. I mean, the charge port, we tested it. We have the ludicrous one right here. It's exactly the same on the Model Y. There's nothing different about it as far as the charge port. And you can see it looks like that. Again, it's a little bit different compared to the older one. It was a lot more plastic. There's a lot more softer plastic for the charge port area. So now that's pretty much the biggest differences between the Model 3 and the Model Y on an exterior perspective. The Model 3 and Y pretty much have the same kind of window construction, meaning it has a three-part. So it has the windshield, it has the middle, and then it has the rear windshield. This is the same, but the rear windshield is far smaller because the middle section is a lot longer, right? So you got the windshield, the middle, and then the rear windshield. So the Model 3, if you're a tinter, is far harder, more difficult to tint than the Model Y. The Model Y is literally just this long and pretty wide, but it's really easy to do. 3, we might need some practice to get done. So let's now talk about the interior, all right? So the interior, I'll just show you, I don't think we have to go inside really, is very, very similar. So I wanna show you the notable differences right here. So you got 2, right? So this controls obviously the angle, and then this goes up and down. This actually goes up higher and then also down. So just keep that in mind. This doesn't do that, but this does this. It does have ventilated seats. It does have cooling seats as well, and heating seats for the front, okay? So that is really unique to the newer ones. But as far as all of this that you see, all of this actually is almost identically the same. Okay, I'm going to show you the Model Y as well. Big difference is going to be a little bit here, which I'll talk about in a second. So let's go to the Model Y. Since I did the passenger side, let's do the exact same thing and not do the driver's side. Okay, so on the passenger side, exactly the same, obviously higher, but you get the same construction. You can go up and down. You get the ventilated seats. The Model 3 also has white seats, but this is a white, that was a black one. You can see it's exactly the same construction right here, the same right here. The big difference is Launch Edition. It actually has a black Alcantara right here. That's a big difference. You saw over there, well, I think ours has the felt, right? Not felt, it's like a fabric or some sort. Yeah, it's more like this. This is exactly what it is right here, but the Launch Edition has that. If you have a Launch Edition, you'll have this fancy little label that says Launch Series right there. And then of course, the door seal right here, we're testing some stuff, will actually say Launch Edition. So we will sell PPF for that area, but you can see that the PPF does hide the Launch Series a little bit, so we have to work on that a little bit. The big difference, guys, is going to be the newer cars actually started having this. You can see this is like the warning label, so they don't use that. But essentially the door switch is actually not the same in terms of size. We were doing some R&D on this, and you can see some of them are already wrapped. Not the same. So we had to edit some of it for some of the designs, but as far as the functionality, exactly the same. Like I said, notable differences, just the way that this works right here. This kind of looks like the older model, the previous gen Model Y. It had a little like door trim right here, like a wing. So this is kind of what it follows a little bit. So it uses that felt material, RGB lights that go all the way through. You got the tweeter right here. But other than that, pretty much exactly the same. Let me tell you about what the biggest difference is. However, it's not really a difference anymore because the newer Model 3s are also going to be getting this in the next few, I don't know if it already happened, but very soon. The newer cars are gonna actually come with a stock. So this was one of the feedback that they got from customers, is that they really missed the stock. I'm not gonna lie, I actually wanted the stock too, so I'm really glad. My spouse also loves using this, so it's just a lot easier, and I think it's just something that, you know, when you've driven for so long, it's really hard to kind of get used to with the buttons. I know that a lot of cars have that, or some cars, but that's a big notable difference on the Model 3, on the Model Y 2026 variant. So that is essentially, other than that, very, very similar, right? It's exactly the same. You both get the pillar lights, or it's not pillar lights, sorry, the pillar cameras as well. Same number of cameras, except this one does have, I totally forgot to mention that, you get this little sucker. You get a front camera, and this thing has a washer right here. It washes the camera. That's a really big deal. I really like that. On the model, so Cybertruck, it also had this. And one of the things that we had was, I wish it had a rear one, because that's what I actually end up using a lot more. So we ended up partnering with Clearview and, you know, adding that to the rear end. So might do that, but we just want to check if it's going to be worth it and if it's going to be easy enough to do. And if it is, maybe we'll bring it to market, right?
What about legroom in the back seat?
Yeah, so I mean, the difference between legroom, right? It's not, I mean, it feels good, right? So I'm 5'11". I don't think I'm 6 on a good day. Really 5'10", 5'11". And this is what it looks like. However, I have short legs, long torso. So I don't really have a whole lot of space. So with my high torso, I only have like 3 inches up here, right? But I have about, in my leg, this is a driver, how I usually drive, I have about like 4.5 inches. So, I mean, 4.5 inches on top of me is a lot. You know what I'm saying? So like 5'11". You gotta be really tall to be uncomfortable. But honestly, it's a very comfortable car. If you do have families, of course you have the center console, and this isn't different, right? This is not unique to the Model Y Juniper. It also has it on the Model 3, but it is nice. Now, again, same concept. I'm 5'11". We do the same thing on the Model 3. right? And this is how I drive. So you can see I have about 2 inches. So, I mean, you're looking at what, like, oh yeah, definitely a lot less. 2 inches and what do you think, like 1 inch, right? So you have more space up here and you have more space, you have less space up here, you have less space up here as well, right? So, oh, I forgot to mention, these seats don't move, right? Though what I mean is that seat is pretty much stationary, right? It doesn't actually move back and up and down. This one, look at this butt right here. Actually moves down and up.
Oh, it's the back of it?
Yeah. If you have good posture. You don't have good posture? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, you could pretty much move that. This is actually really cool. I mean, you have a lot of comfort level. This is a little bit too back for me, to be honest. So I'd probably want it a little higher for me, right? But if you were really tall, you could actually lean back a little bit. So that's one of the key differences, I think, between the Model 3 and the Model Y. So as far as the comfortability, you know, both cars are really fun, right? The Model 3 is definitely lower to the ground. The Model Y is slightly higher to the ground, and you're a lot higher in a way, not necessarily from the contact or like the car, but you're just sitting a lot higher too, right? So if you were, you know, both are really good family cars, to be honest, but if you were more of, I don't know, you got 2 kids or something like that, I would definitely go with the Model Y. If you don't have kids yet and you're also a lot younger than me and you don't mind getting in and out, definitely save some money, get the 3. But I feel like it's hard to say which one is better because both of them are fantastic cars. So this video, we weren't trying to convince you one or the other. We're just trying to give you kind of what we see the differences, the similarities and the differences are between the 2 cars, and then let you decide. And if you have any questions, we try to answer all the comments. So just ask us, fire away, and we can help you kind of decide which one fits your need. So hopefully that was fun watching it and kind of learning more about the differences and similarities between the 2 cars. Click on that subscribe button and we'll see you later.